boys and girls. Welcome back to some more math. So we're going to do some more math yesterday, and we're going to start kind of where we left off. So you're going to need a couple things for today. You're going to need your math workbook. You're going to need a pencil. Oops, there we go. And you're going to need your counters. Okay, so I'm going to give you some time to get those three things. You're going to need your math workbook, math unit number 3, a pencil, and your counters. So go ahead and do that. And then once you get those things, you are going to open up to page 163. I'm going to show you. This is what it looks like. 163, page 163. And you'll see at the very bottom here, let me lift this up so you can see it. So the bottom right-hand side of the page, here's the number 163. So turn to that page. I'll give you just a couple of seconds so that you can find it and you're ready to start. And then if you've already found it, you can get your things ready. You can get your counters out, get them lined up, and then your pencil. And boys and girls, I'm going to use a marker for mine just so it's easier for you to see when you're watching at home. All right, so today our I can, you're going to count to 10. So we're going to talk all about the number 10 today. So here's Jackson, and Jackson sees some ducks in a pond. And your job is going to be to count how many ducks there are and then show it in the tens frame. So there's a couple ways we can do that. So we always want to start at the top and then we can count down. And for every duck that we count in the pond, we're going to put a counter over here so that we can keep track of what we've counted. So I went and turned all of my counters to yellow, not the red side, yellow. You can use whatever you want, but I just figured since my ducks are yellow over here, I'm going to use the yellow counters. So I'm going to start at the top, and I see one duck. So I'm going to put one counter in my pond. Then I'm going to go down here. Here's another duck. So I'm going to put another counter in my pond. So far, I have 1, 2 counters, and I've counted 1, 2 ducks. And then right here, I'll put another counter to represent that duck. So I've counted 1, 2, 3, and I have 3 counters over here to match. Then I'm going to go here. This would be 4, my 4th duck, so I'll put that in the pond. And then underneath that is my 5th duck. So I've counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ducks so far. And if I want, I can cross these out after I've counted 2 so that I can keep track of how many I've counted. So here's my 5 ducks. I'm going to keep counting. Now I'm going to go here. This is 5 and 1 more is 6. Another one is 7. Another duck is 8. Another duck is 9. And then our last duck is 10. So boys and girls, I know that I can't hear you, but you can answer at home. How many ducks does Jackson see all together in the pond? Go ahead and say it. If you said 10, you are correct. He saw, if you can see my hands here, there we go. He saw 10 ducks all together. Now, we need to represent how many ducks he saw in the pond in, what is this called? Who thinks they remember? Say it if you know it. What is this called with a 5 frame on top and a 5 frame on the bottom? If you said a tens frame, you're correct. Good job. Good job. So we know that Jackson saw 10 ducks. We need to fill in the tens frame to show how many ducks he actually saw. So I'm going to start at the top and I'm going to put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When I get to here, I swoop back and start over again. That was 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we know that Jackson saw 10 ducks. I have to fill in my whole tens frame in order to match the amount of ducks that Jackson saw. So my top half, when that's all filled in, that's 5. And my bottom half of my tens frame, when that's all filled in, it's 5. So when I put 5 and 5 together, it makes 10. So Jackson saw those 10 ducks. So I'm going to clear that off. Then you can go ahead and turn the page. So now we're going to be working on this page right here, page 164. So it has Jackson and it has the ducks and then it has the tens frame in here, okay? So this is kind of just showing another picture of exactly what we did. There's an arrow by each duck because he was counting each duck individually. Every time he saw a duck, he would put a dot in his tens frame. So he has the whole tens frame filled in. That shows that he saw 10 ducks. So now we're going to go down to the star with the number 1 in it. And you can see there's a lot of ducks here. Okay? Again, you can kind of count this any way you want. But I want you to circle how you're seeing, how you know how many ducks are here. So if you need to count each individual duck, then you would go and circle each duck and count 1, 2, 3, 4. You can do that. Or maybe you see them in groups. So you could circle them in groups. So maybe I see right here, I see a group of 3 and another group of 3. And I know 3 and 3 more is 6. And then another group of 3. So 6 and 3 more is 9. Then I see a 1 all by itself here, that's 1 more, so that's 10. So now I need to show how many ducks I saw by filling in the tens frame. So you could either go one at a time. So there's 1 duck, 2 ducks, 3 ducks, 4 ducks, 5 ducks, 6 ducks, 7 ducks, 8 ducks, 9 ducks, and 10 ducks. So for every duck he saw, he filled in a dot in the tens frame. So it shows when this is all filled in, Jackson saw 10 ducks. All right, we're going to do this one together as well. So it looks like some more ducks, just a little different color. The apple with the number 2 on it. So for every duck you count, you're going to fill in a tens frame to match how many ducks you counted. So again, you can count 1 at a time. So if we're doing that, we'd say 1, and you could fill that in. 2, fill it in. 3, fill in the tens frame to match. Or you can maybe see them in groups. So maybe you see them in groups of 2. So you could circle that. If you saw them in groups of 2, then there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So either way, however you count them, however you see them, circle how you see them, and then fill in the number to match in the tens frame. So I started counting by ones. That's definitely a great way to figure out how many ducks there are. Then I moved to show you, you could see them in groups of 2. Maybe you saw them in groups of 4, 2 groups of 4 and a group of 2. However you see the ducks, circle how you see them, and then put the number to match in the tens frame. So I know when we counted, there were 10 ducks. So that tells me I need to fill in the whole tens frame. So I saw 10 ducks, and now my tens frame matches. It has 10 in it. Okay? So you are going to get a chance to practice now, and you can move on to this page right here. So page 165, I have to move my counters out of the way so I have a flat surface to write on. All right, so we're on this page right now. So I'm going to give you a little time. I want you to do the fish with the number 3 on it. Again, circle how you see the ducks. So you know, count how many ducks you see, circle how you see them, and then fill in the tens frame to match. So I'm going to let you do that really quick, and then I'm going to go and do it, and we can see if our answers match, if our answers are the same. Okay, so you can go ahead and you can do that. I'll give you just a minute or so to do that. Okay, so if I'm going to circle how I see these ducks, I happen to see them in groups of 3. That's just me. You don't have to see them in groups of 3. So I see 2 groups of 3, and then on the bottom a group of 2. And boys and girls, I see it going horizontally. Remember, horizontally is straight across. So I see them going horizontally. I see 2 groups of 3 and a group of 2. And I know that 2 groups of 3 is 6, and then 6 and 2 more is 8. So all together I have 8 ducks. So I need to fill in my tens frame to show 8. So I know when the top half is filled in, that's 5. And if I wasn't sure of that, I could just count one at a time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and fill them in. Now I need to get to 8, so I'm not done yet. So I'm going to swoop back to the left and start over. So I had 5. I'm going to count on 6, 7, 8. Now my tens frame matches how many ducks I saw. All right, now I want you to do number 4, the geese. So go ahead, circle how you see the geese, and then put the number of dots in the tens frame to match how many geese you see. So go ahead and do that. All right, so for this one, I happen to see these ones in groups of 2. So here's a group of 2, here's a group of 2, and this way is diagonal. If you can see my hand, I gotta get my hand in here. It's diagonal, so it's sideways. It's kind of hard to see on here, but diagonal. So my pen is sideways, it's going diagonal. So I saw a group of 2, another group of 2, another group of 2. So I saw 2, and then my last group of 2 going horizontal. So there's a group 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. So I saw 4 groups going diagonal and 1 group going horizontal. But I saw them in groups of 2. If you saw them the same way, great. If you didn't, that's great too. It's always wonderful to find different ways of counting. So whatever works best for you, you continue that. If you counted each one individually, that's perfect. If you saw them in groups of 2, that's perfect. If you saw a group of 4 and a group of 4 and a group of 2 all together, however you see it is great for you. So keep up the good work. Now, we said we had 10 geese, so I have to put a dot in my tens frame to match the total number of geese I saw over here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the whole thing, when this whole tens frame is filled in, it's 10. If you need to count each one individually till you get to 10, that's great. Maybe if you know there's 10 geese here when this is all filled in, you don't have to count, you just fill in the whole thing because you know that's 10. However it works for you is wonderful. All right, now this last one, this independent practice here, I'm going to have you do this on your own. So do the same thing. You're going to circle how you see how many birds there are, and then put that number of dots in the tens frame to match. Okay, so for number 5, 6, and 7, circle how you see the birds. If you see them in each one individually, if you see them in groups of 2 or 3 or 4, however you see it, circle how you saw it, and then fill in the tens frame to match how many birds you saw. Okay, number 8 down here is a little different. So for number 8, you're going to choose, you're going to either do 9, oops, probably can't see my fingers very well. You're either going to do 9 birds or 10 birds. You decide. You don't have to draw birds if that's too hard. You can just do circles, but you decide you're going to either do 9 circles, birds, or 10 circles or 10 birds. And then however many you drew, you're going to match that number in the tens frame. So for number 8, you decide, are you going to have 9 birds or 10 birds? And remember, you don't have to be a great artist. You don't have to draw birds. You can draw circles instead of drawing birds. But you have to choose, are you going to draw 9 or 10? And then however many you draw, you match that number, or you fill in the tens frame to match the number that you drew. So for number 5, 6, and 7, circle how you see the birds, and then fill in the tens frame to match how many you counted. You do that for 5, 6, and 7. And then 8, you're in charge of how many birds you get to see. So are you going to see 9 or are you going to see 10? And again, you don't have to be able to draw birds. That's not for everybody. So just draw a circle or a square or whatever to represent the birds, and you decide 9 or 10. And whatever you choose, you fill that in this tens frame to match. So this last page I want you to take a picture of and upload it onto Seesaw when you're all done so that we can see all the hard work you did. Great job today, boys and girls. I will see you again tomorrow. Bye.